Three times I thoroughly embarrassed myself. I love to tell stories. If you hadn't noticed, I enjoy that. So I thought, well, I was just kind of recollecting what are some things in my past that I thought might make for an interesting little video where I get a chance to tell some stories. So these are real events, and I'm telling them in order of severity. The first one is when I worked at a grocery store in high school. And at this time, there was a popular nautical theme in the way people, like the best example of this would be I would see hats that would be blue with like an anchor on it, or a shirt with like, look like a life preserver. It just was a really odd little thing that was going on in fashion at the time. And I saw this guy, he was probably in his mid-60s, and I would bag groceries, and I enjoyed talking to the customers, and he had a full-blown captain's hat on, and it was pretty busy. And so I was just trying to make conversation. The question I was going to ask him was really stupid. I was going to ask him if he ever owned a boat, because he was dressed like he was a captain of a boat. So no. And I don't know why, but the words didn't come out right. I'm really debating whether I should even have this on. And I said, in front of everyone real loud, I went, "Oh, have you ever owned a boner?" And fortunately, he had I'm still embarrassed thinking about it. He had a good sense of humor about it. And I was just like, and people were just looking at me. And I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. This question doesn't make sense. He was laughing, but it's like, I don't know. I explained myself to the best of my abilities. I don't know why I said that. I didn't mean to. It's probably my favorite of the three stories. The next one was, so I have to do some setup. I played for, this was also in high school a few years earlier. I think it was my sophomore year, actually. So maybe it was the same year. And I played in a school that then to this day is a pretty prestigious school in high school football. I mean, they've won a couple national titles now, I think at least two. And in high school football, that's pretty good. And when I was there, was on one of the longest win streaks in the country and in U.S. history. I was in the middle of that on that team. I wasn't any good, but I was on the team. And the team was the school, like 70% of the school played football. It was an all-male high school. And we had the bleachers set up, and then he was introducing the team to the parents. And so you had all the parents, and you had the cheerleaders, and you had everybody there, and you had the offense who was to go up, and it was a very intimate setting. And they were to one by one introduce themselves to the whole team and to the parents. And the offense was wearing white uniforms, the defense was wearing green uniforms. And one by one, they would announce. And I remember thinking, yeah, I'm going to be proud of myself. I'm going to go up there. And I was on defense. And so, but the first team offense went up. And for some reason wasn't registering that there would be a second team offense to go up. And I went up there. And I was standing there, and they were just going down the line and announcing their position, their name and their positions. And it got to me, and very loudly, with great pride, announced my name. I remember when I got there, my dad was like trying to stop me, and he was like, and I was like, what are you thinking? What are you doing? And I'm standing there, and I very loudly announced my position and name. And when I got done, a friend of mine standing next to me looks at me and goes, "This is offense." And I'm looking down the line, and everybody's wearing white but me. There was a lot of people there. And I was just like, All right, last one. This one, oh man, if you've ever embarrassed yourself, this one you're probably going to be able to relate to. I think I've talked to people about this, and I think everybody's had something like this happen to them, not exactly this. And I think it's so embarrassing that most people wouldn't admit to it. But there was a friend of mine, I remember him telling me prior to this happening to me, he's like, he goes, I don't know how to tell you this story without sounding like a child. I'm going to try to make it sound as mature as possible. But I don't know that I can accomplish it. I've thought about how I was going to word this, and I'm not sure how I can do it. I'll just see. But a friend of mine was keeping track of it. We had a tight group, group of friends. And I remember multiple times he told me, it was like dominoes. He's like, I've been keeping track of it. And he's like, everyone in our group of friends have, except for you and me, and there was like one other person, have at some point crapped their pants. I don't know another way to put it. And I remember going, why is he keeping track of this? Who cares? You know, I was like, this is not some strange phenomenon like we've all seen ball lightning or something. I was like, whatever, you know. And I was working for a delivery company, the same one I'm working for now, and I was what's called a package car driver. And I was in an area of Kentucky known as Goshen, which is fairly remote, a lot of neighborhoods, and I bet you have no idea where the story's going. And we're in a whole lot of businesses. Not a ton anyway. And it was summer and it was hot, man. It was hot. And there were a few businesses. And it was early in the day. You had till 10:30 to get next day airs off. And I think I'd just gotten my next day airs off. And I think I was just going to, this church had a bathroom. And I was heading that way. And my stomach wasn't feeling great. And I thought I was going to be, passing something fairly innocuous by myself, no big deal. And what I ended up passing was my entire bowels as I was trying to go to this church, just going, I don't know why, I think I must have had to go to the bathroom or something, obviously. But not only was it that I was the next domino to fall in this line of people my friend had noticed, but it was explosive diarrhea. And I was in the middle of nowhere, and there was nowhere to buy more clothes. You have to wear a uniform to do this job, and there weren't a whole lot of options. So I went into the church. I couldn't believe it. If anyone saw me walk in there, probably looked pretty weird the way I was walking, just trying to keep things in their place. I hope this isn't grossing anybody out. I apologize if it is. And I got into the bathroom, had to throw the underwear away, and use the sink to clean my uniform pants as best I could. It was hot, so real hot, sweltering. So I thought, well, at least my pants will dry. But, despite my best efforts, you couldn't quite entirely remove the smell. And you can't do this job for an entire day anywhere in the country, probably except maybe Wyoming, where you're not going to run into a customer. I mean, you're going to run into customers in this job. And I ran into several customers, and I have to imagine that they were thinking, what is wrong with this guy? Oh my goodness, like that, they had to smell things. And I had to do this all day long. All day long. Oh, it was awful. And whenever I go through, I live well past that area. Whenever I go through that area, what do you think I think of? It's the first thing I think of is that day. And oh my God. Of course, that night I went home telling him, I said, well, Another domino's fallen. It's almost like he caused it to happen. You know, and he was excited. He was like, "Yes, I knew it. Another one." Like I was like, "I don't. Why does it matter? What does it matter?" Anyway, I thought this might be kind of entertaining. It was a good opportunity to tell a few stories. Have a good one.